Yeah, give me like 10
Thanks, man.
seconds here. All right. Should be all set.
We good? Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 11th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. I'm sure you're as freezing as we are. So we are, for a variety of reasons, we are remote tonight. But if you have questions, always feel free to use the chat function and we will get to you. But first order of business, doing minutes of our regular meeting from December 14th. And as a reminder, since we're virtual, we're doing roll call. Do I have a motion or a discussion to approve?
I would make a motion, we accept the meetings of December 14th as
Thank you.
written.
Appreciate it, Steve. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Discussion. Hearing none. David. David, you're on mute.
Abstain.
Okay, Bosch. Bosch, you're on mute too.
Yes.
All right, we'll get used to it again. Patsy,
Yes.
Steve,
Aye.
chair votes aye. We are all set. Next up, we're doing community relations announcements and open forum. So let's start with the announcements first. Select Person Zorowski.
2022 dog licenses are now available at the town clerk's office during business hours or online. Once you get that application online, you can then mail or drop it in a Dropbox with a payment, and the payment can be also made at the townofcharlton.net. Real estate and personal property taxes are due February 1st, 2022. The business and the nonprofit assistance grants in the amount of up to $20,000 are still available. You can apply at www.townofcharlton.net. The deadline for the first round is January 27th. Building, plumbing, gas, and wiring permits are available online. To be cautious, the senior center will postpone all the programs in the month of January. To-go lunches will be available Monday to Thursday for drive up at the side door at 11:45 a.m. Call the senior center for more information, and the number is 508-248-2231. They are also online. In an effort to protect our residents and the staff, we ask that the residents wear a mask when visiting the town of Charlton municipal buildings. I also have two on my own very quickly. I just wanted to touch on the Dudley Charlton Educational Foundation. The Venmo challenge is on. Guys, donate. The top two schools that will be in the finals most likely will be the Shepherd Hill and Heritage. Those are top two schools. The winner will get, all the teachers get the breakfast. So donate. To donate, you can go on the websites and go from there. Also, the second thing I have that wasn't on the agenda, and I'm sorry for that, Making Ariel Smile is the fundraising we're working on. The event is on February 5th. It's Saturday at 6 p.m. at the Beagle Club. There will be live music by Steve Robinson and Bonnie Wallace. Tickets are $25. I have the tickets. Select Person Patsy Redlack has tickets, and the tickets are also the Beagle Club. Raffle baskets are welcome. All the info on the Facebook. We have a page. That's it. That's what I got.
Thanks, Pasha. Any other announcements from the members of the Board of Selectmen, inclusive of Nina and Izzy? All right, hearing none, let's go to open forum. Andrew, we have anyone out there who needs anything?
Let's see. I don't see any hands up yet. Nothing in the chat.
Cool. All right. If you guys change your mind, let me know. We'll get back to it. All right. We're still doing okay on time. Let's go to some appointments. Let's start with the police officer, Officer Chase. Andrew, you want to give us the elevator speech?
As previously noted by Chief Dowd, currently there are a few open positions on the police department with a few impending retirements. Chief Dowd has requested that the board act on the appointment of Ryan Chase to the position of patrolman. Officer Chase is a lateral transfer from Southbridge and Southbridge has agreed to release Officer Chase effective January 1, 2022. The board was asked to execute his appointment letter in advance and make the formal appointment at tonight's meeting.
Thanks, Andrew. Officer Chase, it wasn't feeling well, so he wasn't able to make it this evening. But what I would like is a formal motion for at least hopefully discussion to make the appointment official.
So moved.
I got a motion from David. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Patsy. Any discussion? Hearing none. Steve?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Basha?
Aye.
Patsy?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Welcome, Officer Chase. Looking forward to working with you, and please feel better soon. We get a few resignations that we have to go through and officially accept. Andrew, you want to take these just one at a time, please?
Sure. The first one is for the Assistant Town Clerk. We've received notice that Eric Kelly, Assistant Town Clerk, has resigned his position effective January 31st, 2021. The board should accept this resignation. The position is being advertised through the HR department. I'd like to thank Mr. Kelly for his work with the town and wish him well on his future endeavors.
Thank you, Andrew. Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Patsy. Any discussion? Hearing none. Steve?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Basha?
Aye.
Patsy?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. We are unanimous. Good luck to you, Eric. Next up, Mr. Fisk.
Ralph Fisk has submitted his resignation from the Municipal Building Committee effective December 19th, 2021. The board should accept his resignation and a letter thanking him for his services in your sign code.
Okay, discussion from the board? Or a motion?
Motion to accept with sincere thanks for all the years. He's put a lot of years into that committee
Absolutely.
and a lot of time.
Thanks, bud. All right, we got a motion.
Second.
Thank you, Patsy. Any further discussion? Hearing none, let's start with Patsy.
Aye.
Basha?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thanks, bud. Next up, last but not least, we are doing Mr. McKinstry.
Attached is a letter of resignation from Forrest P. McKinstry, medium equipment operator for the Charlton Highway Department, effective January 14th, 2022. The board should accept his resignation and a letter thanking him for his services in your sign folder.
So moved.
Thank you, David.
Second.
Patsy, you're nailing it tonight. Thank you. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. Steve?
Aye.
Bosh?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Patsy?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you, Mr. McKinstry. Wish you well in your future endeavors. All right, we got a few minutes. We have a 6:45 coming up. Actually, you know what? What are we doing? We got about 7 minutes. Andrew, can we hop down to new business? I think we can knock out the schoolhouse grant, which is actually great news.
One second, find that one on my list here. You get through all the minutiae.
Oh, no, we only have 180 pages. Don't worry about it.
Sorry. So as the board is aware, the number 2 schoolhouse is in need of repair. We've advertised for an RFQ for a consultant to prepare a preservation plan for the historic Northside School located at 145 Northside Road. These were received on November 18th, 2021 and forwarded to the Municipal Building Committee for review. They were also forwarded to the Massachusetts Historical Commission for their review. The committees are recommending the board award the RFQ to Evelyn Cole Smith Architects, LLC of Woodstock, Connecticut, at a cost not to exceed $16,000. I'd recommend that the board make the award.
Thoughts from the board for discussion or motion?
So moved.
Thanks, Patsy. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thanks, Basha. Any discussion?
Is this for my benefit and for people at home, is this already designated a historical building?
Yes, and that's why it was granted the grant from the Mass Historical Commission for the preliminary study.
Okay, so you have to have that first. All right, good, awesome.
All right, not hearing any other questions. Let's take a vote. Steve?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Basha?
Aye.
Patsy?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. I'm looking forward to seeing what they come up with. That's really a very beautiful building. Next up, it's administrative. The MMA annual business meeting is coming up. We're looking for a voter delegation. I have the kids that weekend, so I will not be attending. But Andrew, you want to give any more color commentary on that?
Nope, I guess I'll be the sacrificial lamb and be headed out to Boston for a couple days. So feel free to designate me to make the motion on your behalf.
Personally, I'm absolutely fine with that. And again, it's just the usual administrative stuff. But we do need a formal motion. Thanks, David. Second, anybody?
Second.
I'm gonna go with Patsy on that one. All right. Any other discussion? Except to say thank you, Andrew. Steve?
Aye.
Basha?
Aye.
Patsy?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Andrew, thank you again. I'm going to hold off on a discussion on the budget and legislative priorities because that's probably going to take a few more minutes. Andrew, you have anything that you want to talk around in your TA report that you can knock off in 5 minutes?
Sure, I'll just go through it real quick. So just to keep the board up to date, I know one of my goals for this year was, additional transparency initiatives. And one thing that we're working on for this year's budget is kind of a new format in order to present it, make it easier for the public to kind of understand the budget itself and how it impacts them. We're currently working with a program called ClearGov, and we're trying to get that up and running before the initial pass of the budget, beginning of March. So pulling that together, I think that it'll be very helpful for residents to understand how each portion of the budget, when it's fully up and running, somebody should be able to go in and put in their actual tax bill and know how much of their tax bill goes toward any specific line item in the budget. So it's a pretty intuitive program. We're making more custom. It's actually available right now for every Massachusetts municipality. You can look up, and it really goes up to 2019 for the because they take state data. We're going to kind of like that first tier where you can go in and put in your real data and show it. So I think it should help with some transparency matters. So looking forward to kind of rolling that out.
That's cool.
The Route 20 corridor assessment. I combined items on here, but Route 20, we had gotten funds for Route 20 corridor assessment and the Stafford Street corridor assessment. Stafford Street was more the safety audit stuff, but the update in here is basically at Vanessa and Associates. They're basically a couple of weeks out from giving some preliminary findings and should have something to provide the board on that. Relative to the Route 20 corridor, I'm getting proposals right now on scopes of work to essentially use on some of the targeted properties that are a little derelict right now. So we should have something to present to the council, to the board for the next meeting, as far as how to proceed with that one. We're also just doing an evaluation of our payroll processes right now and just making sure that our internal processes are working, that we have that software works best to our abilities, and evaluating some softwares that may improve efficiencies and reduce duplication of effort on the payroll side. Evaluating right now. Again, more to come on that. More for the budgetary discussion, but just provided you guys a budget calendar as to where we stand. Talk about that a little bit. Let's see. And then just as far as new developments, I have been working with our two projects that are on Route 20 and also the town of Sturbridge, as far as some concerns on the Sturbridge side of the fence relative to Mass DOT approvals. We had a meeting last Thursday. I think everybody seems to be on at least the same understanding, but some negotiations still to come on that. And right now it seems that our the projects on our side of the fence are on schedule and look like we'll see some groundbreaking sometime around March. And then just finally, we did receive, we were notified by the Human Resources Director that Bill Beaudry had met with her to verbally announce his retirement from the Charlton Police Department on December 14th, and he noticed that that would be effective January 31st, 2022, after 25 years from the town. We haven't received a written notice of his retirement, but I know that paperwork has been filed with the Worcester County retirement. So it is in process, but I at least want to make the board aware, absent a formal notice of retirement.
Thanks.
To you and Andrew, can we just get a certificate for him? Again, it's just another, we have a wonderful police department and some extremely talented individuals, and they get harder and harder to replace. You know, all that experience. We've got some great young officers, but I think it would be nice to get a certificate to Bill Beaudry.
Yeah, no problem. We will get that out to him.
Additional questions for Andrew, knowing that we're going to talk budget a little separately in a few minutes. Cool. All right, Andrew, good update. Appreciate it. All right, next up, can we see if Dan's on?
Yes, give me 1 second to bring him up.
So as Andrew's doing that, we're talking Fourscore Holdings. As a reminder, that is the marijuana cultivation and retail spot over in, I believe, 144. Sturbridge?
Yes.
Okay.
And Dan, let me know if there's anybody else from your team that you would like me to bring in. So
Yeah. Thanks, Andrew. Hi,
Okay.
everybody.
How's it going?
Yeah. Do you mind, Andrew, promoting just some of the folks that from the project team that are joining us tonight? You have Pat Casey and Matt Wilkes. There's also Jason Pannone. And I think Ben Ratcliffe should be on, although I know he was a bit under the weather when I spoke to him this afternoon.
yep, I got all that.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Well, good evening, everybody. Great to see you all. And for the record, and for those that I haven't met yet, my name is Dan Glissman. I'm an attorney with Prince LaBelle Ty here on behalf of Fourscore Holdings in connection with, as Adam said, the proposed marijuana cultivation, retail, and production facility at 144 Sturbridge Road. We're here this evening to provide the board with an update on the ongoing construction and the progress towards getting this facility open. So I mentioned before when I was getting everybody on, but we're joined by Pat Casey and Matt Wilkes from Aspen, Jason Pannone from Bentley Builders, the general contractor and builder for this project, and then my co-counsel, Ben Ratcliffe. We submitted a brief overview to the board about the construction project updates, include some photos and just some additional information on the construction progress and our prospective timeline going forward. But, you know, just as general overview, and as you can see from those photos, the construction's moving along quite well. A lot of work going on there right now, both interior and exterior. And really, the whole team is very excited to be making all this progress and working towards getting the facility open and operational. There's work going on sort of building wide, but obviously the focus is on the retail component with the intention still to get the retail storefront open and operational first, following with the cultivation and production components. At a high level overview, the retail component of the facility should be substantially complete mid to late February, with a few sort of longer lead time items, primarily millwork, which is really just the casings and the desking, if you will, for the retail facility. That's a little bit back ordered right now, so it should be coming early March. So we anticipate that by March, we'll be moving for a certificate of occupancy for the retail component. And then once that certificate of occupancy is received, we will then be able to really push forward with the final step with the Cannabis Control Commission. And again, just at a very high level, and happy to get into more detail if necessary, but at a high level, the next steps with the Cannabis Control Commission are once we get that certificate of occupancy, we can officially request what's called our post-provisional license inspection request. And that's the initial inspection from the commission where they come in and really their focus is security, making sure that the cameras cover all the areas where cannabis will be held and processed, et cetera, the sales floor, entry and exit points. And then once that inspection is completed, if there's any, issues or corrections that the commission wants us to make to the facility, we'll make those, and then we'll be eligible to move forward to the final license. And so we'll make it to the next available agenda, whenever that is. And after you get your final license, the commission then comes back out for what's called your post-final license inspection. And this one is really you're about to open inspection. And so they sometimes have you walk through a mock transaction with the commission staff. You have product on site at that point. You typically have all your staff badged and hired and ready to move forward. And then after that final inspection is completed, then they'll issue you what's called the commence operations letter. And of course, at that time, we'll be working with the board to, finalize any sort of opening day plans and working with the police department to finalize opening day plans. I know we also have a requirement in the planning board special permits to come to you guys to put some no parking signs across the street from the facility, so we don't have parking issues. But again, we don't anticipate really as much traffic as we saw in the earlier years of cannabis in Massachusetts, and there's approximately 50 parking spaces on site, so we feel like we'll be able to accommodate even the opening day rush. But again, we're really excited to be moving forward, anticipating May or June in a perfect scenario, but obviously that's all pending Cannabis Control Commission timelines and really being able to get on their agenda. They meet once a month, so if you miss that cutoff date, you're a month delayed. But that's the update moving forward. Very excited to keep progressing this project, and happy to answer any other questions by the board. And obviously the team is here as well to dig into any detail that you might need.
Dan, I'm the most cynical one on the board, so I think Q2 is like optimistic with dealing with the state. So I'm just going to assume for the board and the folks at home that best we're really looking at is Q3 through no fault of your own. But we both know how the CCC can be when it comes to expediency.
Yeah. I mean, a July opening would be awesome,
Yeah.
Of course. Even if it was early, like you said, early Q3 would be a good timeline. Although I don't want to speak for the clients, because I'm sure they want to get open earlier. But
I bet. If through the chair, if I have one question, as far as the size of the building, and the total size of the building is.
It's about 20,000 square feet.
And how much of that will be retail?
I think 3,000, although Jason, you might want to, if you don't mind, chime in there and give
Good thing, Dan. Steve, it's a little more than 3,000. I believe it's just under 4,000 total.
Okay, so that's 16,000 for a grow facility.
Correct. That's on the phase 2 cultivation side. Yep.
Awesome.
Other questions for Fourscore? Matt, anything you want to add?
No, sir.
You got it. Go.
I was looking at a board member name, man. I'm sorry.
No worries. We try to be friendly when we can.
No, thank you.
Procedurally, though, from what I remember, we put a termination, or whatever you want to think about it, a deadline in that I know that we extended out. What I probably asked the board is just to be officious that we formally extend that out for at least like another 6 months to give them some time. And then, again, Dan, same type of thing. We just expect you guys come back in, just give us an update around, sometime in June. Who knows? Fingers crossed, y'all could be open by then. But again, just to make sure that we're dotting the I's, crossing the T's, et cetera. So what are the board's wishes?
That's probably a good idea, Bill. I like that. Just it was only I believe we extended it until like December until we got an update. So
yeah, exactly.
Updated April, May, something. Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, I think it was 6 months at the time. So if again, just something to think around, potentially I'm literally making something off of like June 11th.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I believe the language originally was if we hadn't had a final license for one of the 3 uses that we have licenses for by a certain date, we would then follow up with a request to come back before the board. So yeah, we're happy, obviously, to, like I said, we'll be before the board to deal with the street signage stuff as well. So, and of course, I'm always available, same with the members of the team. So if anybody wants to reach out, if anybody wants a walkthrough of the facility to, see how the construction's coming along, more than happy to bring folks through as well. But yeah, whenever you guys would like us to check back in, June is fine.
Can I get that as a formal motion from one of my board members?
So move.
All right, so all right, we're gonna say June 11th from Steve. I got a second from David, I believe. Any further discussion from the board? Or questions for the Fourscore team? All right, the only thing I'd add is for the folks at home, I don't know if the packets have been updated online yet. Once they're up, you'll see that there actually is a tremendous amount of internal work going on, as well as some external. So again, progress is being made. But, it's my usual cynical self when it comes down to dealing with the state that these things just take a long time. So, Dan, I completely commiserate with you. All right, so let's take a vote. Patsy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Steve?
Aye.
Basha?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. You guys are good until June. Good luck. But, Dan, as you do hear things, no matter what they are, just drop Andrew a note just so that, just stay in contact.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, Dan, obviously too, I know you've been talking to our marijuana committee, but just, again, keep them updated too. I think, Patsy, you're on that, right?
Yep, there's a meeting just coming up.
The 25th, I believe. Yeah.
Perfect.
And we are working with the other town departments as well. There's an inspection tomorrow, I believe, with some folks from the fire department. So, but yeah, of course, we're in contact and we'll be keeping everyone up to speed on the progress.
Perfect. Well, again, Dan, Matt, Jason, I appreciate your partnership and for locating in Charlton, and we will be in touch soon, I'm sure.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you
all.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone.
Lock my phone so I can see what's next. Cool. All right, we're close enough. So next up, and Andrew, I don't know if Angela's on yet.
Yep, just bringing her in right now.
Cool. So for those at home, we're talking around the the request to accept a donation of land of Pikes Pond along with the dam. If you follow this, they came in, I think, in December. Long story short, we're looking. The people who own it, or I should say this nonprofit, this trust or whatever it is looking to donate the land to the town. I believe the Conservation Commission is in favor of it. I know the Board of Selectmen has some questions around the dam as well as the abutters to the property. So we've made, again, some additional insights into the condition of the dam, as well as reached out to the people who actually live on the pond to get some feedback around what they think. So that is the elevator speech, but let me turn it over to Andrew and Angela to kind of bring us back up to speed on what you found, what your recommendation is, and then I'm going to turn it over to the board for questions, and potentially we can take a vote on this tonight, or we can table it for more discussion if you want. So Andrew, I can defer to you or Angela, however you want to handle it.
Yeah, I don't know if Angela wants to provide, I'll defer to her first if she did most of the legwork on getting this information together.
Yes, so I did as you guys recommended, I sent out a short survey to the abutters, letting them know about the transfer, and then asked just some kind of general questions to guide where we would go further. I feel that there may have been some misunderstanding with the survey, but I didn't want to put anything leading in the letter, so I just tried to keep it as general and open-ended as possible. The main reason why we were approached and why we approached you is because the current property owners are dissolving as a corporation, and they had mentioned that if they retain the dam, that they would be looking into removing the dam, which is something that we absolutely do not want, which is why we agreed to take it and maintain it. So, and then just some other questions on, the type of public access they would like to see, if we just, leave it alone as is, or if it could potentially be an area that could be developed, say it's like a picnic area or a boating. It does appear from the 26 surveys we sent out, we got 9 back. The majority of, it was kind of mixed. It seemed a lot of the people didn't really feel in favor of promoting and publicizing it as a passive recreation space. Mostly concerns for maintenance and some activities that already happen already. And of course, as we expected, nobody was in favor of dam removal, which, like I said, we are not either. And I believe, I don't know if you got copies of the surveys and the responses to look at. Okay.
We did. Thanks, Angela. Hey, Angela, I'm sorry. Did someone have a question first?
My question is, what was the vote of the Concom unanimous?
Yep.
Hey, Angela, I know one of the things we wanted to look at was the state of the dam itself. I know that the 2015 report has it as a low hazard. Did we end up looking at like anything updated? I honestly don't remember whether or not that was one of the things that we did.
Yes, I sent the most recent dam safety report to Mary, I believe right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And nothing changed. Everything
Gotcha.
is the same. So
Okay.
once we accept the parcel and the dam, I could then take that report and file it with dam safety, which would restart the clock and give us another 10 years before we'd have to do another evaluation.
Gotcha. Thanks, Angela. So for those at home, basically there have been now 2 different inspections, or, for lack of a better word, of the dam. Both say that it's a low hazard. So I know there's always a concern around accepting land like this or water like this, if you will, because sometimes it can be costly, but under this circumstance, it doesn't appear that that's going to be a significant issue. I still remain in favor of moving forward to accept this donation, with just a couple caveats. One, I know when people live on lakes, some are not always as receptive as others around providing public access. That to me will always be a condition of no, like, even if we just keep it as is for now, the thought is that if the taxpayers are going to take the responsibility of this, then I want public access to it. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to put in, these enormous picnic sites or, boat launch ramps, etc. But public access will be there. However, because in my view, the town is accepting this and gets public access, and this is going to segue into the conversation in a little bit around budget, I think we as a town have to do a better job of helping the lakes and ponds, much like we do our parks, because there's a lot of, different types of plant overgrowth and things along those lines, with like chestnuts. I was reading about that, and there's all these like milfoil, etc. There's all these things that harm the lakes, and the reality is that anything that has public access should be treated as though it's a park. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll be able to throw a ton of money at it, but I would recommend to the board, as part of our discussions, that we really take that into consideration, that if the public can use it and the public's gonna have responsibility, we as a town and a board also have an obligation to try to help keep it in a positive state. But that's my little diatribe for the night. Let me turn it over to the rest of the board to get your thoughts on whether we want to accept this or not.
Chair, just a
Please do.
comment. I believe technically the public already have access, correct?
Correct.
No, which means that really isn't going to change. They already do have access.
But I believe that's through an easement over a property owner's driveway.
Yes,
That is correct.
Right, but it doesn't change their ability to access the lake.
no, it is recorded at the registry of deeds and on a recorded land plan as such. And I will say, once it is accepted, our next step moving forward is to add it to the lakes and ponds covered under the umbrella of the Lake and Pond Committee and proceed with doing vegetation surveys and look into potential treatments, especially for the milfoil and water chestnut.
And I did, I did read through. So the owner is a National Heritage. The owner now that's asking us as a National Heritage Fund or
Conservation Trust.
So they are the owners. And
Yes.
they're the ones that are asking the town either take it over or we may tear down the dam. It's them that are doing that.
Yes, that is correct.
So as far as, and then I read through some of the latest, the November 3rd site reviews, and there were some recommendations in there that looked a little hefty, but it was more around cleaning up the I don't have it right in front of me, but cleaning up the storm drains and some other things around there, right around the dam, and it looked like quite a bit of DPW work, Department of Public Works work, to be able to do that. And as long as we're aware of that, I'm fine with it. I was just as there were probably 5 or 6 recommendations.
I did speak with Jerry. I think you actually have even completed a survey. I did one in person and one paper one with him.
Okay.
But he did say DPW is not against additional maintenance work being necessary if the town required it. So it is an earthen embankment dam. So with earthen embankment dams, the one thing you want to avoid is woody vegetation and woody vegetation growth, because the roots can get in and compromise the integrity of the concrete walls as well as the earth itself. That and burrowing animals, which tend to be common. But so as long as you can keep the vegetation down and develop a routine sort of mowing schedule, it should just be fine.
And you'll find those recommendations, and for those at home, when we get this up there in pages 61 and 62 of our packet.
Angela, is this fully motorized? You can use any boats on that lake?
No, it's not big enough or deep enough. It would be strictly canoe kayak.
Yeah.
Okay, so the less of the hazard, if anything, if there will be public access. And you said that the Conservation Commission is in favor of accepting that donation, correct?
Yes, they voted unanimously to accept it. Oh, months ago. I can't remember the date of the vote. So that was the first step, is the Concom accepts it. And then we approach the Board of Selectmen to sort of affirm the donation, accept it on behalf of us and give it back to us.
I have a question. This one's probably more for Andrew. If there were some dam repairs or anything coming up, could this be covered under our ARPA funding, federal funding?
Yeah, that is, I mean, it's a source. One dramatic change that actually just came out with the guidance on the ARPA funds is before, in the first round of funds, there was revenue replacement was all based off of a formula that basically said that in accordance with this formula, this is the maximum amount that you can put toward revenue replacement. Beginning of April of 22, the guidance is changing that any awardee can use up to $10 million as revenue replacement. So that dramatically changes the game as far as what that money can be used for, and essentially opens up that if this was something that the town wanted to use that ARPA funds for in that time frame, that they could.
Andrew, didn't Angela also reference in the handout that should it be in need of repairs, that she believes we'd be able to get grants for this?
Yes, the dam and
Wall repair.
dam and seawall grant is available out there. And I think from this, from my perspective, individuals that I've talked to, that's been the biggest concern is that, that they don't want the town to accept this and then essentially the costs of repair be pushed back to the abutters that are around the lake. They would want the town to accept the maintenance and responsibility of that through our other means of revenue generation.
And again, it's very similar to like Little Nugget, small lake and pond, very few residents. Not like some of the larger ones that are, close to 200 acres with several hundred residents about the shore. This one has the pond itself, I don't even think, because we sent the abutters notice to not just the pond, but the adjacent upland parcel we're getting as well. So I think it was only like 14 people actually live around the pond itself, and then the other abutters abut the other acreage, the upland parcel that comes with it.
So as far as this process, no, regardless on how we vote tonight, this goes in front of town meeting to accept, or
No.
we vote on it and we take it.
Selectman Cronus, it basically falls under the authority of the Board of Selectmen to accept a formal land donation.
Will we sign it? I'm sorry. Will we put signs up or some sort of to note public access? Only if we're accepting it and it's going to be owned by the town. I would like the residents to know that they have the potential use of whether they take their kayaks out there or whatever, would put up a sign or some sort of signage that the town now owns it, or that it's public, or.
It's always been public as part of the subdivision, and I'm pretty sure they all are aware of it. The only sign I would recommend putting up is
Parking.
Not even parking, that no lifeguard on duty, unsupervised beach, swim, kayak, canoe at your own risk. Just
Right,
to
I was gonna
protect
say
any
that.
sort of-
To push that liability a little bit away from, from the town,
Yeah.
right? So we have to put them on notice, correct? Yeah.
So
I
that
think
would
that's
just go at like where, everybody goes already to launch their canoes and
kayak.
kayaks.
The kayak only, right? No paddle boards. I'm asking for a friend.
I think you could probably paddleboard. I mean,
I'll put a motor on the
paddle
back.
might get stuck in
From
water chestnuts
what
for
I've
the time being, but
Yeah, so Andrew, to like Patsy's point though, along with the Angelos, let's think about putting up some type of sign that might just be all encompassing. Again, I don't expect it to get more use than it does now, quite frankly.
Me either.
But at the same time, it is what it is.
We're already working with I forget which
From-
link, but one that had public access before
Yeah.
about putting signage up, so we'll probably just copy that.
Gotcha. Thank you. Steve, did you have something?
Yeah, from a few people that I talked to today, and I've never been to that launch site. But apparently the dock is in disrepair, and so there is some money that needs to be spent before we totally take it over, even just from a liability standpoint, from the docks part where people are going to launch their kayaks.
Maybe we can reach out to the scouts. That would be an excellent Eagle project. They're always looking for things to do in the town. So maybe that's something that
That's, yeah.
in the future to kind of,
I am presenting to the Boy Scouts February 5th, so I could recruit some of them.
Nice. Well done, Angela.
Who will be
But
applying for
yeah,
that?
no, I do agree with Steve. There are a few things there that could be classified as an attractive nuisance, but in reality, it would take 2 DPW guys in a pickup truck to pull it out. It's not like it's
oh, okay.
a huge dock. It's like a really tiny kind of broken up wooden dock that just needs some manpower in a 4-wheel drive pickup truck. And there are some canoes and kayaks down there, but some of them are chained to trees. Some of them are just kind of there and look kind of broken. So those attractive nuisances should be removed.
If it, certainly if it becomes a town-owned property, yeah, I would agree.
Angela, so you will be the one applying or seeking that grant? That's what's this called? Seawall repair grant? Who will be applying for something like this?
Well, that's only if we need it though, right, Basha?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that even being
That
a
needed?
subject of discussion for at least 20 years.
Oh, so this is something bigger, not not the repair of the, removal of anything. Nothing that grant cannot be used for to clear it up, make sure everything is in order, maybe.
No, that's for more, you have to reach, the hazard, and it has to be a flood risk to qualify for the grants. So the maintenance, what needs to be done now is just routine maintenance that hasn't really been done.
Okay.
And maybe we can add a sign that says $5,000 fine for littering. I'd be all for that.
Oh, we should. Making Charlton beautiful.
I'm willing to make a motion to accept this. I like the research I've done today. I like it.
I got a motion from Steve. Do I have a second for discussion?
Second.
Andrew,
There
did you
are
have something?
people-
Yeah, I just noticed you have
Chat that-
somebody with their hand up in the.
Oh,
chat.
sorry.
If you wanna
Yeah, please.
challenge them.
Either promote or just have the question
Yeah.
asked, or however you want to handle it.
Here, just bring it in. All right, Chet, you should be allowed.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Hey, Chet.
Yep.
Okay. I'm Diana.
Oh, hey, Diana.
Olio, and I live at 4 Pikes Pond Circle.
Mhm.
So would I have an easement for the access to repair the dam? So are you going to say that you're going to put a sign up at the end of my driveway and people are going to be able to bring their canoes across my property and launch their boats off my property? Because that's what they try to do now and I don't let them.
But they can do that now, right, Diana? Or am
No,
I-
they cannot do that now. My deed strictly says it's an easement for correction of the dam. Maintenance.
Okay,
The
so
launch areas off Carroll Hill Road. Pikes
And
Pond
where-
Circle, there's another easement, but that's strictly just for DPW and maintenance.
Right. So where are you proposing, like, in your letter, you said, are you open to parking lot with a gazebo? Where actually are you proposing that? Because I have the plan here and I was just wondering where you are proposing to put
Oh,
that.
I'm not proposing, those were just hypothetical potential future projects engaging interest, like support or not support. So if it's not supported, not gonna waste our time, pursuing funds and looking into where that would go and stuff like that.
So
Diana,
where would the sign go for access to the dam?
well, access to the dam or access to the launch?
Well, access to the launch.
God's not truth, we'd have to take a look at it and find out what makes the most sense. I mean, again, just speaking for myself, we aren't looking to overcomplicate this. It's really just a
Right.
matter of saying, if people can access it now, they just have to be able to continue to access it. And, is
Right.
there a way to bring us maybe a little more visibility to it without having a real bad negative impact on the people who live there? I'm sure that there's a happy medium in there somewhere. I mean, this isn't, so even think about a gazebo or a parking lot, literally that is probably number 7,463 on my priority list right now. Like it's not even up for discussion right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, wait a minute, Chet, my neighbor has a question. Go ahead, Chet.
Yeah,
So this is Chet McCord. I'm the one that has the right of way across my land.
Hey, Chet.
So I'm not opposed to the town taking this over. I was instrumental in having the land gifted to the National Heritage Foundation years ago. And so I'm very familiar with the whole process. Plus, I used to be chief of wildlife research for Massachusetts, so I have some expertise in biology and all that. I just want to be involved in how you use my driveway in that right of way, because there are some legal issues there that I want to make sure, you know, I don't increase my liability or create a situation where I have, you know, loss of property damage, loss of property value, and that type of thing.
Yeah, no, Chet, that's more than fair. Again, I think at this point, where it's such the prelim phase around doing anything, I think it just, the concept that anything that the public can use now, that they're going to be able to continue to use. Outside of that, you know, how we go about doing that. So if that's the what, I think we can absolutely have very friendly conversations around the how. So it's to not, you know, be a major inconvenience for you.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
And just to sort of reassure you, in the state of Massachusetts, I forget the exact MGL, but it's called the Recreational Use Clause. So if you know, private owner, allow people to recreate on your property, you're not allowable unless you intentionally and egregiously try to harm them. Then you would become liable, like if you put up like weird tripwires or stuff like that.
No, I wouldn't want to harm anybody, but when I'm entertaining, I don't want people crossing my property with their canoes and their, when I'm entertaining at my house, I've had people pull up in their SUVs with coolers full of beer, smoking pot and playing their music in my backyard across my property. And I'm not a fan of that at all. That's all.
Yeah, no, Diane,
You're more than welcome to post your property as private. The deeded public access is off Chet's driveway off 26. So you don't have public access off 4 Pikes Pond Road. You have a maintenance easement for dam safety.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
by all means, I mean, you're more than welcome to post that as a private property. And
yeah, Diane, I mean, for like all intents and purposes, it sounds like the only people that can actually go on your property would be the DPW officials and others to try to repair the dam.
Surveyors. And
yeah, exactly. Outside of that,
or like, you might see me there, you know, checking on the dam.
But outside of that, you know, I couldn't just bring my kayak onto your property, because you could call, you know, the Chief Dowd and like have me arrested for it.
No, I get in your face first.
Oh, come on, Dan needs some more work for his department. But yeah, like I said, honestly, Chet, I mean, I appreciate, first of all, I want to thank you both for coming on tonight. I mean, you know, I don't want to speak for the board, but at the same time, I just want to say, we're not looking to cause a problem for anybody. No, it's really just a matter of saying, look, if people can use it now, we're just going to keep having people to use it. But we're not going to go out of our way to say, you know, big spotlight saying, hey, you know what, bring your kayaks and boats and, come across Chet's property. That's not the goal of this at all.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Chet. Thanks, Dan.
And Chet, for what it's worth, I probably live a mile and a half from you. I never knew until a month ago that pond even existed, nor your easement to get there. Just never.
Yeah, that's part of the beauty of it so far.
Well, then why don't we get off the Zoom and just make a vote and keep it quiet?
All right, so Chet and Diane, are you all good for now?
Yes, thank you.
We're good.
No, thanks for dialing in. All right, so Steve, I think you made the motion. Patsy, I think you made the second. Cool. Any other discussion or questions?
In that motion, are we adding that we also accepting the maintenance and responsibilities to maintain it? Is that the part of the motion or are we not? Because I'm confused on that part.
Well,
I guess we own it.
yeah, Basha, I'd probably argue, just like Patsy said, by us owning it, we now take on, we as a town now take on those responsibilities. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. Basha, let's start with you.
Yeah, yes.
Patsy?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
David?
I have concerns, but I.
All right. Chair votes aye. That is unanimous. Angela, I want to congratulate you and say thank you. You did a real nice job on this analysis. So start that paperwork to figure out what it is we need to do at this point, and then we are good.
Yeah, you just
Thank
have
you.
to sign the deed and it'll have to be notarized. So I think it will require everyone having to go down to the town clerk. But I
Gotcha.
will figure out all those details and let Andrew know tomorrow. And thank you so much. I appreciate everything.
Thanks, Angela. Nice job.
Have a good night.
You too. All right, nice way to segue back into budget. So like we do every year, you know, Andrew's going to start working with everyone to put the budget together. And I think it's important, even though it's difficult because we're 5 individual voices, but to give our thoughts to Andrew around what our priorities are, whether we're thinking be conservative, be aggressive, look at this, look at that. So I just want to use this opportunity to kind of talk with Andrew to say, all right, individual board members, and knowing we may actually conflict on this, so you can't hold Andrew accountable for that, but where does the board feel, or where does the individual members feel he should focus on this year's budget? So I'm going to go last, but it's up to you folks. So whoever wants to go first, just start yelling.
Well, we always have been conservative. I don't remember Charlton ever not being conservative. But with our growth and our times, the new projects we have, we just need to consider that. So I think we just kind of keep on heading down the same road that we've been heading down with, you know, careful spending. I don't, that's my, I mean, any crazy changes seem, I mean, you know.
Crazy.
No,
Steve?
I agree with Patsy. The town's always been conservative as far as spending goes. I think that's wise.
Mm-hmm.
I think as far as adding, yes, there are projects coming down, but we don't count our chickens till they're hatched, right? So when that happens, that's a little bit of a different ballgame. I mean, we all kind of know that there are some wants in town that have turned into needs, and maybe we ought to keep a keen eye on them in the future. But for right now, yeah, I think for 2022, I think we're good until we get these projects off and rolling. Then that's a different conversation.
Mm-hmm. David or Basha, any thoughts that you want to throw out there?
Conservative.
Go ahead, David. No. I go then. I'm anything but conservative by nature, but I will go with what Patsy and Steve were saying. You know, on the side of caution, but I actually would like us to work closely and observe everything that is going on and all those new businesses coming into town, so we can work directly with them and make the town a little bit more about, you know, being pro business and all that. You know, any type of the capital improvements, like you said, Bill, we all have our needs and desires, and again, we can work along all that potential money that is coming in with, you know, Amazon and all the other projects. I would really like to see something done with the fire, something done with police, you know, the same things we have talked about, schools, some repair. That's my 10 cents.
Cool. Thank you, everybody. The only thing I'd add is, so 2 years ago, for those at home, we, for all intents and purposes, had a level services budget. So we didn't really add anything. Last year, I think we added very minimal headcount on the municipal side, and that was done intentionally. It was really kind of around public safety. One thing I would at least want to have a discussion about with FinCom as well as others is knowing the growth that is coming. sooner or later, we're going to have to increase our public safety, inclusive of our DPW. And I would argue we want to do that before the growth comes. So one thing I would like to see is, we've talked about it for years, that our police department is still not up to what it should be staffed at. If we can make something work with that, I think we should at least try, because once we do get all this additional growth, we're going to have more problems. That's just a reality. And if we can be proactive and ramp up on that, I think that's something that we should try to do. The second piece, and very briefly, again, it goes back to the dam discussion, as well as I've had lots of conversations around the ponds recently with folks, is that knowing everyone does pay a premium who lives on a pond, as quite honestly they should, because, well, they live on a pond. But they do pay a lot in taxes. And I think it's any pond, again, that has public access, it should be the responsibility of the town to help fund some type of foliage or aquatic issues as best we can. That doesn't mean that we're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to clean everything up, but we should treat our ponds that have public access the same way that we treat our parks. So those are two things I would consider at least that we should look at this year. But outside of that, again, if we had to go level services this year, we could. I would prefer we didn't, because again, I really believe that public safety, both the fire department, police departments, as well as DPW, who would, what I consider that triumvirate, really need to get looked at, and we need to start to build that up, knowing what's coming. But Andrew, that is, I think, the input from five of us. For all intents and purposes, I think you hear where we're going with this. No crazy spending, because it's just going to get rejected.
Yeah, there were just a few things I just kind of wanted to get the temperature on, just being aware. So I know, Bill, you mentioned growth in public safety and stuff. I had a few conversations with Chief Knopf about the SAFER grant that's coming out, and essentially the SAFER grant would fund an additional person per staff, fully funded over 3 years if awarded. So essentially going from 5 people per shift to 6 people per shift. Understanding that in 3 years where we're going to be, I wanted to wait until I had this conversation with the board as to advise him whether or not to apply for that grant. So, just kind of getting it out there, is that something that the board feels that we should try to go from a 5-person crew to a 6-person crew? Do you need more conversation around it, or should I tell, should we say, hey, go after this grant, understanding that 3 years down the road, we're going to be pulling that into our operational budget?
So 3 years down the road, obviously we'd have to have a conversation, but for the first 3 years, if it's fully funded by a grant, there's no issue with the taxpayers and being taxpayer funded.
Correct. And 3 years from now, even like what Bill was saying, that's very wise planning ahead, because we're going to have to increase staff. We all know.
We don't know what's going to happen 3 years from now, but I think to Bill's point, Andrew, better to start working on a plan today for tomorrow than wait until tomorrow and then it's too late. We can't spend money. We shouldn't plan on spending money we don't have yet. Things happen, but we should definitely have a plan with steps being developed now.
Okay, good. Yeah, just want to make sure that before came back and said, congratulations, we got this multi-million-dollar grant, that it wasn't, adding headcount. It wasn't something that the board wanted to see. So thank you. The other part was, so the senior center, there's been some discussion that there is a building that's down the road that is on the market and available, that they're interested in selling to the town for the purpose of converting to a senior center. The estimated cost to purchase the building would be approximately $2 million. And I'd say a back of the paper estimate as far as what it would be to fully renovate that building would probably be another $2 million. So say this is a $4 to $5 million project, with a timeline of having to act by town meeting. Is that something that, understanding all the other priorities that are going wrong with potentially school roofs, the public safety building, does the board feel that we need to pursue this, have additional conversations with the council on aging, or just see more additional information, or is it flat out no, drop it now?
I would say more information, but unless you can print $4 million for me in the basement of town hall, I'd be a no.
Yeah, I'll play bad cop as
Okay.
well on this one. That when I think around priorities, whereas I think we'd all love to be able to get the senior center a better building, a better just overall budget, a better environment. Between the public safety building / fire department / police station repairs, as well as the inevitable capital asks from the school, I just can't see it happening. I honestly, I wish I could say yes, and that's a great political thing to do, but the reality is I would have a hard time supporting it.
Would you like me to try to get some more information as far as the cost and the impact on that before we just completely drop it, or just basically go back and say, yeah, we went to the board, what's that now?
I think part of that, Andrew, is to again consider where you're going to get $4 million. And then what are you going, and then what are you not going to fund because you put $4 million into a want? We all want, to Bill's point, right? But we can't have everything we want. And we have limited funds and a lot of needs.
Yep.
So does the board want Andrew to do a little more due diligence and bring something back? I don't think it would hurt, but at the same time,
I agree, Bill. Bring more information back. We all know that this is something that the town's been, playing with for decades about getting a building. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to have more information presented and go from there.
Including where you're going to get $4 million.
I agree with Patsy. The little more information would hurt, and I think that we don't have not enough housing, which is completely off topic, but overall in a area of the seniors altogether, we lacking a lot in that department. And I understand the 4 million is not going to be printed, but we were talking about outgrowing the town hall in general, right? So there's a lot of different departments and the different committees that do need a space. Is that true, Andrew? Chip-ins, one of them?
Yeah, I mean, space is an issue kind of altogether, and it's just, this is one of those things that, we like to plan and kind of project 4 to 5 years down the road and, make action on something when the money these projects have come to fruition and we see the money in the bank and we know that it's there, just knowing that this essentially this building's on the market.
Right.
That's at least why I bring it up now before we've gone through it. And we do have the money that we put toward in the ARPA funding as far as feasibility, so we can at least use some of that to at least do a little bit of due diligence, but maybe not go too deep.
But this is a big building. It's, I think it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of information. Knowledge is a power, right? So whenever we're ready, if we have something, more substantial on the topic, I would like to see that myself.
Yeah, Andrew, I thought when you said that there was a property there that was coming available for $2 million for the senior center, I thought I missed an email and maybe we were selling the police station.
Well, who knows?
All right, so Andrew, I think direction wise, do a little more digging, get some information to us.
Okay.
It sounds like that the temperature, unfortunately, is a little cool on this due to other priorities.
Okay, all right, easy enough. And then just the last thing, one thing that we were looking at as far as terms, and I know that conservativeness and headcount, so I wanted to run this by early, but facilities maintenance. And one thing we wanted to look at this year was the development of an actual facilities maintenance division, consolidating the custodian that's in each building and, put it in looking to kind of create a structure around that with a facilities maintenance director. And just wanted to get, at least put that onto your, thought process and see if that's somewhere where it's like, yeah, no, that's headcount that we don't want to see.
I'll go first if it's all right. I like the idea, but I can't back it this year. I think it's something that we want to talk around in the future. I'm assuming that we can, defer to you with your infinite wisdom, Andrew, to come up with something maybe that's a little more process efficient, as opposed to actually changing titles and or hiring new for a supervisory capacity. But again, that's just my 2 cents.
I agree with Bill on this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think that later in the future, there has to be some discussion about an actual DPW maybe, or something like that, to kind of one big department. For right now, yeah, another head, adding head count when we can survive, when we have so many other expenses.
I agree.
All right, those were the three big ones I just wanted to throw out. So
Thanks.
we'll take the rest of them as we go through the rest of the budget.
Gotcha.
Can
So,
we
Andrea, Basha, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can you keep it in mind the presentation of the Keeping Charlton Beautiful comedy as to bringing, more flowers? I know it's, bring a smile, a little bit more green, a little bit more lights, maybe Halloween decorations. I don't know. I would like to see some flowers throughout the commons as far as we can go.
Sounds good.
All right, so Andrew, it sounds like you have your marching orders. Andrew, when is the next big dates for us on this, whether it be meetings with FinCom, school committee, et cetera? Because
right now I have school committee. I have members of the school coming in for the next meeting to kind of give their capital plan and overall to you guys. It's just kind of like an early discussion.
to our friends on the school committee who may be watching or who will watch later, I'm expecting the same conservatism on your side that we are doing with ours. So if there's anything outrageous, it's going to turn into something. So I'll play bad cop on this one for Andrew. Come in with something reasonable, because we're not going to be able to take a big hit this year.
Really kind of our next benchmarks are going to be somewhere around like March, April, where we'll really be meeting with FinCom. I think over the next 2.5 months is going to be them mulling through the individual department requests, kind of doing their listening sessions with everybody that wants one thing or another, and then kind of figuring out what's a hard no, what's a maybe, and what's a yes, and then we meet all together and make the final adjustments.
Speaking of which, I think Noreen is looking for someone else for the finance committee. So if people are interested in joining the finance committee, please reach out to Town Moderator Smith. All right, that being said, I think we're good. The only thing I'd also caution to the board, it's kind of budget but warrant related, that if anyone's interested in getting any articles out there on the warrant this year, it's already January. So we want to talk to legal, do whatever. So if anyone has any ideas that would need town meeting approval, let's get those to Andrew ASAP so we can start working with our folks to make sure that they're drafted correctly. All right, any other questions or concerns for Andrew? All right, Andrew, any questions or concerns for us?
Oh, good.
Cool, thank you for that. All right, let's go over to our student select people. I can't remember who I went first last time. So Nina, you're on my screen first. So you know what, Nina, you're up first.
Okay, so there's not a lot going on right now in January, but my favorite thing that happened is no midterms. The school board just announced yesterday that they're canceling that, and I think the rest of the school appreciates that. So thank you. Also, like my mom mentioned earlier, the Venmo challenge. So the DCF has been doing this fundraiser called the Venmo challenge to raise funds. So last week's challenge was between Shepherd Hill and the reigning champs, DMS. So they have defeated all other schools thus far, but maybe that has changed. We don't know yet. So the challenge ended on January 9th. So, but you can still make a donation. So to make a donation, you need to go to Venmo and just type in the school name, like a description in the Venmo, like little box. And then the minimum you can donate is $5. So moving on, due to some weather challenges, the new show dates for Alice Wonderland and the Glass is now Friday, January 28th at 7 p.m. and Saturday, January 29th at 7 p.m. Moving on to driver's ed classes. So the February class is full now, but the next class will be in May, and the registration for that will start in March. So go to the Shepherd Hill driver education page for important information about the program. And then our favorite is AP payments. So send the money into AP exams prior to January 21st, which is coming up. So that's next Friday. So a check or money order should be made out to SHRHS. And then one of our last things is the PLTW Biomedical news. So the project Lead the Way Biomedical Science program was chosen by the industry professionals to be recognized for the Project Lead the Way work submitted to Mass STEM Hub and Student Industry Connect for Massachusetts STEM Week. So all biomedical students in principles of biomedical science, human body systems, and medical interventions and biomedical innovations submitted work from labs and presentations like blood spatter, biometrics, ear models, and designing an emergency room. So congratulations. And the last thing is the mask mandate has been extended until January 15th. So masks up. That's all.
Thanks, Nina. Nina, did you say January 15th? Or
February.
February 15th. Sorry.
No, no worries. No, didn't want to let the school committee off the hook yet. All right, I love those.
Nina, I think I saw an email just before we started tonight that they are starting midterms and they're going to start Wednesday.
Oh, well, I'm fighting against that, so I will not be taking any midterms this year. Senioritis.
Nice
Well done, Nina. Thank you. All right, Izzy, you're up.
Sweet. All right. So there's also not much happening at Bay Path, but after vacation and all that. But COVID news, everyone's favorite. COVID continuing to mutate and cold and flu season commencing. Bay Path is offering in-school COVID testing for any student or staff member that's showing symptoms. And in case of close contact, parents are recommended to fill out a testing permission form that allows for contact tracing and in-school testing. Forms and COVID-related information can be found on our website. Moving on, freshman students have until tomorrow to turn in any outstanding work they have for shop teachers. Their exploratory grades will be in and finalized by Friday as they begin to choose their permanent shops. So that's exciting for freshmen. Little sports recap. Girls varsity and junior varsity basketball teams both won their home games yesterday against Abby Kelly, so good job to them. The boys basketball team, unfortunately, has been canceled, everything, games and practices this week due to COVID. Games will be rescheduled later, and I hope that the boys feel better. Our track team are hosting their very own track Olympics. Because our meets were canceled due to COVID, the track team is holding our very first Olympic Games in which we compete against each other in various events to win medals. Signups for baseball and softball are starting and they will be available through January and February. Tryouts will be in late March and dates are to come. Softball weightlifting, however, starts the last week of January on Mondays and Wednesdays after school in the weight room. And finally, just a little reminder that all 10 NHS hours are due by the end of our second quarter.
Thanks, Izzy. Questions for Izzy? Hearing none. Izzy, stay warm and stay safe up there on the hill.
Yeah, Izzy, thank you.
All right, let's go to any other old business or business not posted. Anyone have anything they want to bring up? The only thing I'm going to throw out there for the board is we all know that there was a lot of discussion around the real estate bills that came out. And I think, a few of us tried to explain as best we could, inclusive of Andrew, Kathy, and others, around here's how your tax bill gets calculated. Is there any interest in inviting Kathy and or the Board of Assessors in to have an additional conversation, not around individual tax issues, but rather to say, almost like an assessment 101 for folks who might be interested. If not, that's okay. I just wanted to throw it out there to the board to see if we want to invite them in.
Chair, what if it was done in a video format and recorded and put on the website? That way any resident could watch it at their convenience.
Yeah, I like that idea a lot.
Say maybe they can do it at their own during their own office hours and put together a brief presentation. Can post it on our website. Nothing like 15 minutes because that's about the normal person's attention span, but the basics. Because people are very upset. I don't think they understood the process, and it got a little not nice. Some of the comments they just get carried away. So that's a great idea. But I don't think they need to come into one of our meetings unless you guys want them to come in.
That's fine with me.
I sat through a 2-hour town council meeting last night in my own hometown, listening to the same arguments. So this definitely isn't a, it's statewide. I'll be happy to work with Kathy to put.
Yeah, I was going to say, Andrew, if you could send a very nice letter to Kathy and the Board of Assessors, seeing if they could just pull something together for folks, and then we'll put it up. And then we'll take it from there.
Mhm.
Cool. All right, folks. Beyond that, I think we are good, unless anyone else has old business that we want to talk around. Hearing none. All right, our next meeting is going to be, I'm looking it up, January 25th. We may or may not be remote. We'll let you know as soon as possible. And we're going to go into executive session. Andrew, to the best of my knowledge, we are not taking any votes coming out of this.
No.
All right. So for all intents and purposes, folks, we're going to go in executive session and come out and adjourn. So we get nothing else going on. So I would like to thank everyone for both attending tonight. And again, every time residents come on, I get happy. So thank you to Diana and Chet and everyone else who joined tonight. So with that, if someone could make a motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion to go under executive session under MGL 30A, section 20A, number 3, to discuss strategy with collective bargaining or litigation. It'll be update on legal matters in clerical contract. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body and the chair so declares, and to reconvene, I guess we will not reconvene.
We're going to reconvene just to adjourn.
The open session to take action if needed and to adjourn.
Patsy, I appreciate you doing that. And the chair so declares. Do I have a second?
Second.
Perfect. Roll call vote. David?
Aye.
Basha?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Patsy? Oh, Patsy, you still there? Oh, Patsy may have frozen, but I'm going to say she says aye. The chair votes aye. We are in exec, and like I said, we're only going to come back out to adjourn, so we can take off. Nina, Izzy, thank you very much, and we will see everyone in a couple weeks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.